Did you know that being awake for 18 hours straight can make you drive like you're drunk? Now, I think most night shift workers can relate to this. The commute home after a third shift can be a terrifying experience. So let me help you get home after a shift with these tips that continuously work beautifully for me. Now, my guess is you've just jumped in the car after a shift and you are completely exhausted. Now, before you turn that key, I want you to ask yourself, am I actually safe to start driving, or do I need to have a 15-20 minute nap? Now, I know this can be awkward and uncomfortable as hell in the car, but we need to at least attempt it for your safety and everybody else on the road. Now, to make this snooze a success, I focus on a couple of things. The first is trying to find a quiet, safe place to shut my eyes. Now, on the side of the highway is not a safe place. The back of a car park may be a better idea. If it's too loud, even in the quietest spot you can find, consider playing some music through your car stereo or just through the speaker on your phone. I like to pick beats like I'm at a day spa, but you just pick tunes that suit you and help you fall asleep. The next thing I try to do is to block out that light. I finish work about 7:30 in the morning, so the sun is well and truly shining. So I use our favorite Manta sleep mask. It's really comfortable and it blocks out all those rays and allows that melatonin to start doing its thing. I also pack a small pillow and also a blanket. If you've got a weighted blanket that you just leave in the car, I highly recommend that. Now, if you've got this far and sleeping's still not happening for you, try sniffing some lavender. I've got two different sorts that I use. One's in this sleeping mist and the other one is lavender oil in this little roller that I generally put on my wrist and also on my neck and on my temples. And I find the smell of that together with the music and the other sleep aids I spoke about, that helps me go to sleep. So you probably don't have this lying around in your car right now, but next time you're at the shop, consider getting some lavender. A short sleep of around 15 to 20 minutes shouldn't make you feel too terrible when you wake up because you haven't entered those later stages of sleep. But what I recommend before you do get back into the driver's seat is to reset yourself by getting out of the car and going for a brief little walk. If you parked at a gas station, consider going into the bathroom there and splashing your face with some water, or even grabbing your drink bottle and having a few big sips. I find that this just gets me in the headspace again to start driving and getting home safely.
Oh, I've made it, thank goodness.
Now, if the sleeping thing isn't working out very well for you, but you are desperate to get home because you're so tired, I recommend winding down every single window in your car, or if it's raining, turn on the air conditioner. Make the environment in your vehicle really uncomfortable. Don't put the heater on and avoid putting on any seat warmers. You won't find seat warmers in this car. Next, I recommend listening to some sort of audio, whether that be your favorite music really loud or something you can sing along to. Or personally, I like listening to really funny podcasts. I'm a huge fan of Audible and listening to stories. However, I can't listen to them after a night shift because it acts like a sleeping tablet. So figure out what keeps you stimulated and what keeps you awake in terms of sounds that you're listening to, and turn that up, baby. Now, something serious for a second. If you are going to listen to music, don't put headphones in. I think it decreases the awareness you have of the environment around you, and you can't hear sounds that allow you to make quick decisions when you're driving. Eating's also another reasonable option that I know a lot of night shift workers do, but just be careful. Our digestive system goes to sleep overnight, so it's probably already struggling with the food that you've eaten over the last 10 to 12 hours. If you do want to eat whilst you're driving, choose healthy snacks rather than the takeout options, despite how tempting it can be as you drive on by. Now, the snacks that I recommend are bananas, fruit and nut mix, sunflower seeds, and even those homemade protein balls that we've spoken about on another video. These sort of snacks will certainly help, and I think will give you energy to get home safely, but won't make your stomach feel really sore and hopefully allow you to sleep once you get home. Now, if you're not hungry, but you're super exhausted still, there's a high chance you've got your coffee in your hand right now. But just be really careful, because we still need to have a good day's sleep to prepare ourselves for tonight. So I stay away from coffee on my commute home and drink things like kombucha or chamomile tea or even coconut water, cold coconut water. I found really helps give me the energy to get me home safely. I would also stay away from the caffeinated sodas, as the sugar hit will be worse than the drowsiness itself. Now, the other problem with caffeine that I need to mention is that it won't kick in straight away. So even if you do have a coffee, it could take 15-20 minutes for you to actually feel something. So what happens in the meantime while you're driving? You're still a really high risk. So I highly recommend just to choose something else. My next piece of advice to stay alert and awake is to chew some gum. I keep some in the glove box of my car for those drowsy moments. I also, as a little sneaky tip before I leave the hospital, I fill up my Beast tumbler with some ice, and chewing on the ice blocks as well. I find that that's really effective to keep me awake. Driving a manual car was also another tip we got from a member of our community, though they mentioned that it won't be very helpful if you're constantly driving on highways your whole way home. Now, if you've got this far and you're still really tired, I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. Are you switching lanes without meaning to? Can you remember the last couple of exits or even getting into your car in the first place? And have you entered the rubble strip even just once on your commute home? If you're answering yes to these questions, really consider pulling over, calling a taxi, or even calling a friend or a family member to come and get you, and you can worry about your car later on. It might be safer for everyone if you pull over and not drive another mile. If you're watching this video as you're preparing for a night shift, here's a couple of other things that you could think about. Could you catch public transport? I know it can be smelly and uncomfortable and awkward, but it can really work for some people. Can you carpool and support a colleague to also get home safely? Can you call someone on hands-free who is expecting a morning phone call? It also might be worth checking your prescription medications. Us night shift workers work really long shifts, and some of you might get really sore, achy legs and feet that you take some pills for. Now, this is fine, but some of these pills have side effects that may make you really drowsy. So instead of taking these pills when you're at work, it actually may be worth waiting a second and taking them when you get home. It also might be worth skipping those morning beers that you enjoy with your colleague, because it's likely going to make your commute home an absolute nightmare. If you are interested about drinking after a night shift, we did a really fun video recently, which I highly recommend you checking out next. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you learned a couple of things. If you did, give us a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. We've got lots more to share. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you at the next shift.